Number 7. American History X. American History X is a 1998 film directed by Tony Kaye. It follows the life of a neo-Nazi named Derek, played by Edward Norton. And Derek, he's very charismatic, very powerful, very influential, and very hateful young man. And his little brother, Danny, played by Edward Furlong. Danny really looks up to this Derek character. He thinks the world of him. And one night, Derek goes to prison for a very, very disturbing murder. It's one of the most disturbing murder scenes you'll ever see in the film, especially if you're a black person. Yeah, yikes. But anyway, years go on and Derek is finally released from prison, and Danny's so excited about this because Danny himself has become a very adamant neo-Nazi as well. But he notices when Derek is back, it's not really the same Derek. He seems kind of reformed, like prison changed him. Let me talk about Edward Norton. Now, I'm not saying this is a one-man movie, but if Edward Norton doesn't pull off this character right, this movie could go either too much into a crass, over-the-top, just really bad situation, or it could just be really corny and really vanilla for a film that has depictions like this, like neo-Nazis and hate crimes. So Edward Norton, believe me, is on point in this film. Now, there are two acting performances in my life that I've watched. Immediately after I saw them, I realized I want to be an actor. Now, one of them is later on this list, and the other one is this performance right here. When I watch this film, I'm not watching Edward Norton play a neo-Nazi. It's almost like somebody took a video camera and followed this real-life neo-Nazi leader around, showed him giving all the speeches, these really hate-filled speeches. You could just feel the hate coming from his words. It's just, oh man, it's so intense. And you get goosebumps listening to these performances from Edward Norton. It's just crazy, man. And it's really a freaking shame that Edward Norton didn't win an Oscar for this role. I honestly don't know how he didn't. Based on that almost is one of the reasons why this is my favorite movie, because I've never seen such a powerful performance by an actor before in my life. And it's not all because his performance was intense. It's also because it's very hard to make a character like this a protagonist in the film. I mean, who's really going to get emotionally invested to root for this guy in the film? But Edward Norton seems to pull that off. I mean, obviously he kind of reforms himself. He kind of starts to realize maybe he's being duped, maybe he's being brainwashed by all this hate that he's been fed his entire life. He begins to question his life. It's at this point where people kind of go into Feel City as they follow the life of this Derek character. And I think that's what's beautiful about this film. It can show even the most depraved, most hateful individuals can change and become better and help the world themselves. That's another reason why this is one of my favorite films, because it has a very powerful message about redemption, about forgiveness, about maturity. This definitely isn't an easy watch. There is a lot of advisory I'd give. There's a lot of graphic content, a lot of graphic, very violent, hateful, racist language and imagery. There is strong sexual content, including a rape scene, so please be advised about that. It may not be for everyone, but it's not one of those films where it just does all of that just for the sake of doing it. There is a purpose for these rape scenes and these strong sexual scenes. Very powerful film. I highly recommend it, obviously. It's number 7 on my list. Go check it out. American History X.